Hello everyone and welcome to our first lesson. My name is Martin and today we are going to talk about the OET speaking module. The speaking module of the OET exam consists of two parts, or we can say it has two sections. The first section is the warm-up, and the second section you'll have two role plays. Now, it takes 20 minutes as a whole to take the speaking part of our OET exam. So let's say you start with the warm-up section. There will be the examiner. The examiner will ask you some questions about your, let's say, will ask you and confirm your personal details, maybe your name, let's say your candidate number, the date, and the examiner will ask you to sign on the paper and so on and so forth. In the warm-up section, you are not assessed. What does this mean? So it means you will not get any point, no number in the warm-up section. It's just to make you feel comfortable. The main section is the second part or the second section, which we call it a role play. In the role play section, the examiner will take the role of a patient, a carer, or maybe, for example, let's say, a parent of the patient. And you will be taking your own professional role as a doctor, as a nurse, or if you're a dentist, you'll be taking your role as a dentist, okay? You'll be taking your own professional role. Now, what does this mean? So it means that it will be a normal conversation between a doctor and a patient, or maybe a carer, or maybe, for example, let's say the parent of the patient or relative of the patient. So what you're supposed to do is first, you have to, let's say, look at the card and prepare yourself. On the card, first you have the situation, you read the situation, and then you'll be given some tasks. Normally, there are, like, for example, approximately 4 to 5 tasks, sometimes more than that. Okay, so you are, let's say, supposed to do what? To read the tasks and talk about all these tasks, for example, let's say, one by one. Okay, remember that the speaking section is a normal conversation between a doctor and a patient, or maybe a nurse and a patient. Okay, so you don't have to memorize any dialogue. You have to be as natural as possible. So I'm going to, what do you say to that? Add here the links of some worksheets and at the same time handout for the questions. Okay, the interview questions. How would you greet the patient, and how would you interview the patient, for example, let's say, about the different parts. Okay, let's say you ask questions about the patient's family history, for example, let's say the history of the pain, let's say the medication, okay, according to the card. So I'm going to add here the links to some of the handouts and worksheets for, what do you say to that, the questions, okay, that you're supposed to ask the patient during the interview and taking history. And there'll be some dialogues, for example, let's say, in order to reassure the patient, and some dialogues to, for example, let's say, describe the diagnosis, okay, some dialogues to talk about the management of your treatment. How would you, let's say, for example, describe the management of your treatment, and at the same time how to, for example, let's say, break a bad news to patient, or maybe ask your patient to start, for example, let's say, insulin. You got my point? So there will be like specific examples in the handouts. Have a look at the handouts, and also don't forget to check our own offline lessons. So for today is enough, and if you have any concerns, you can contact us. Have a good day.